اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سلام على آل ياسين. السلام عليك يا داعي الله ورباني آياته. السلام عليك يا باب الله وديان دينه. السلام عليك يا خليفة الله وناصر حقه. السلام عليك يا حجة الله ودليل إرادته. السلام عليك يا تالي كتاب الله وترجمانه. السلام عليك في آناء ليلك وأطراف نهارك. السلام عليك يا بقية الله في أرضه. السلام عليك يا ميثاق الله الذي أخذه ووكده. السلام عليك يا وعد الله الذي ضمنه. السلام عليك أيها العلم المنصوب والعلم المصبوب والغوث والرحمة الواسعة وعدا غير مكذوب. السلام عليك حين تقوم. السلام عليك حين تقعد. السلام عليك حين تقرأ وتبين. السلام عليك حين تصلي وتقنوت. السلام عليك حين تركع وتسجد. السلام عليك حين تهلل وتكبر. السلام عليك حين تحمد وتستغفر. السلام عليك حين تصبح وتمسي. السلام عليك في الليل إذا يغشى والنهار إذا تجلى. السلام عليك أيها الإمام المأمون. السلام عليك أيها المقدم المامون. السلام عليك بجوامع السلام. أشهدك يا مولاي أني أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأن محمدًا عبده ورسوله لا حبيب إلا هو وأهله. وأشهدك يا مولاي أن عليا أمير المؤمنين حجته والحسن حجته والحسين حجته وعلي بن الحسين حجته ومحمد بن علي حجته وجعفر بن محمد حجته وموسى بن جعفر حجته وعلي بن موسى حجته ومحمد بن علي حجته وعلي بن محمد حجته والحسن بن علي حجته. وأشهد أنك حجة الله أنتم الأول والآخر وأن رجعتكم حق لا ريب فيها يوم لا ينفع نفسا إيمانها لم تكن آمنت من قبل أو كسبت في إيمانها خيرا. وأن الموت حق وأن ناكرا ونكيرا حق. وأشهد أن النشر حق والبعث حق وأن الصراط حق والمرصاد حق والميزان حق والحشر حق والحساب حق والجنة والنار حق والوعد والوعيد بهما حق. يا مولاي شقيا من خالفكم وسعد من أطاعكم فاشهد على ما أشهدتك عليه وأنا ولي لك بريء من عدوك فالحق ما رضيتموه والباطل ما استختموه والمعروف ما أمرتم به والمنكر ما نهيتم عنه فنفسي مؤمنة بالله وحده لا شريك له وبرسوله وبأمير المؤمنين وبكم يا مولاي أولكم وآخركم ونصرتي معدة لكم ومودتي خالصة لكم آمين آمين. صلى على محمد وآل محمد.
Just a note, inshallah, next week's program will not be on a Friday. It will be on Saturday, 6 p.m. to celebrate the birth anniversary of Sayyida Fatima al-Zahra. So inshallah, next week, there's no Friday night program, but it will be replaced with Saturday, 6 p.m. to celebrate the birth of Sayyida Fatima al-Zahra, inshallah. And now I ask if we can recite 3 loud salawat as we welcome Sheikh Mohammed Dehnavi to begin tonight's main discussion. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين روحي وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء صلوا على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters. On behalf of all of us, I would like to convey our sincere condolences to our dear present Imam Mahdi, Ajjalallah Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, on the death anniversary of Lady Ummul Baneen alayha salam. Lady Ummul Baneen alayha salam is one of the shining stars and individuals of the history of Islam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the intercession of Lady Ummul Baneen alayha salam on the day of judgment, inshallah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the Ziarat of Lady Ummul Baneen alayha salam, inshallah, in this world, with Allah salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allah. Today we are gathered here to commemorate the death anniversary of Lady Ummul Baneen alayha salam. Lady Ummul Baneen alayha salam the one who occupied the heart of millions of people. A lot of people give charity out of the honor of Lady Ummul Baneen alayha salam. She has a special place in the heart of the lovers of Lady Ummul Baneen alayha salam. And inshallah today we want to examine the beautiful legacy of Lady Ummul Baneen alayha salam, and inshallah we'll learn the lessons from Lady Ummul Baneen alayha salam. Lady Ummul Baneen alayha salam was born in year 5 or 10 after the hijrah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And when she was about like 14 to 20 years old, she got married with Imam Ali alayhi salam. There is no like exact date regarding the birth of Lady Ummul Baneen alayhi salam. But they say that she was born in year 5 or 10 after the hijrah of Prophet. The name of the father of Lady Ummul Baneen alayhi salam is Haram or Hazam, and the most popular name is Haram. So you might say, Sheikh, Haram is like something is prohibited or forbidden, Haram. But Haram has other meanings as well. One of the meanings of Haram is sacred. For example, you say Al-Masjid al-Haram, the mosque that has sanctity, sacred mosque. Or you say Ash-Shahr al-Haram, Ash-Shahr al-Haram, the month that has sanctity, the sacred month. Yeah? So Haram has different meanings. So the name of the father of Lady Ummul Baneen alayha salam was Haram or Hazam. And the name of the mother of Lady Ummul Baneen alayha salam was Shamama or Thamama. There is a beautiful story regarding the birth of Lady Ummul Baneen alayha salam. I would like to share this beautiful story with you. That one day when the father of Lady Ummul Baneen alayha salam traveled somewhere else, and when he was on his trip, he had a dream. In his dream, he saw that he's carrying a very precious thing, like pearl. And while he was carrying that precious thing, or that treasury, he saw a horseman is approaching him. He comes to him. The horseman told him, "Can you please sell me this beautiful pearl?" He said to him, "I want to sell it, but I don't know how much does it worth. I don't know the value of this pearl." He said to him, "I don't know even, but I want to get it, I want to buy it and give it to an Amir, to a king as a gift. So if you give it to me, I promise you that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless you in this world and in hereafter, inshallah." So he gave it to him. He gave it to that horseman. And then when he comes back from his trip and when he arrives home, before his trip, his wife was pregnant. He sees that his wife is giving birth to a girl, beautiful girl. So he names her Fatima. So the name of Lady Ummul Baneen is Fatima. And then he gave her this title, Ummul Baneen. So this title, Ummul Baneen, was given to her by her father. So there are two different narrations, but one of the narrations says that this title was given to her by her father. And Ummul Baneen was the name of her grandmother. So the father gave this title Ummul Baneen to her because of the mother, the grandmother of Lady Ummul Baneen alayha salam. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajjal faraj. As you know, when Imam Ali alayhi salam, when he wanted to remarry, and when he decided to get married again after Lady Fatima al-Zahra alayha salam, he went to his brother Aqil, and he said to his brother Aqil, "Oh brother Aqil, I want you to go and find a brave wife for me. I want my wife to have a brave tribe, have a brave family, brave ancestors, brave lineage." And Imam Ali alayhi salam says to him, "Anjabatha fuhulatul Arab." I want her family to be brave, to be faithful, to be generous. So Imam Ali alayhi salam talks to Aqil. There is a question comes up here, that why Imam Ali alayhi salam, the one who has a lot of knowledge, Saluni qabla an tafqiduni. So why Imam Ali alayhi salam goes to Aqil? By the way, in bracket, you know, Aqil had ilm al-ansab. Aqil had ilm al-ansab. You know what's ilm al-ansab? Ilm al-ansab is the knowledge that that person knows the everything about that tribe. So Aqil had ilm al-ansab. So he knew every details about the tribes. For example, he knows that this tribe is brave or this tribe is knowledgeable. He knows all of the information about tribes. So Imam alayhi salam, he goes to Aqil and asks Aqil, "Oh Aqil, I want you to find a brave wife for me." Anjabatha fuhulatul Arab. I want a brave wife. So there is a question, why Imam Ali alayhi salam asked Aqil, while Imam alayhi salam has knowledge? He needs Aqil or he doesn't need Aqil? So the answer that Imam Ali alayhi salam wants to teach me and you a lesson, a beautiful lesson for those who want to get married, inshallah. He wants to tell us that even if you know, sometimes you have to go to those who are expert, those who are experienced, and ask them about that girl, about that boy. This is very important. And unfortunately, these days, we see that a girl sees a boy on social media, or a boy sees a girl on social media, on Instagram or Facebook, whatever. And they see the pictures, and like, you know, he falls in love with that girl as well. You just see the one aspect of the life of that girl, or she just see one aspect of the life of that boy. You know, normally they don't show you the bad aspect of their lives. They just show you the beautiful aspect of their life. You see it in the pictures, and then you want to get married with that person. And this is a big problem. Imam Ali alayhi salam wants to teach us one lesson, that we have to go and ask people, those who know her, those who know him, his friends, her friends, the family friends. We need to ask about that personality, that individual. And then if they give you okay, then you can go ahead. So this is very important, because I had some cases, the guy came to me and he said to me, "Sheikh, I got married with her and now I want to get divorced." I said to him, "Why? So you got married like 2-3 months ago." He said to me, "Sheikh, she changed." I said, "It's impossible. She changed like overnight. It's impossible." I said to him, "You didn't ask about her when you wanted to get married with her." So this is very important. Imam Ali alayhi salam goes to Aqil. So we have to learn this lesson from Imam Ali alayhi salam. Imam Ali alayhi salam goes to Aqil. You don't want to go to a person who is expert, who is experienced? So this is very important lesson. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli. One of the lessons that we can learn from asking Imam alayhi salam from Aqil, that I want a brave wife, that Imam alayhi salam wants to teach us another lesson. What's the lesson? The lesson is that Imam Ali alayhi salam doesn't say to Aqil, oh Aqil, I want a beautiful wife. I want a rich wife. He says, I want a brave, generous, faithful wife. Imam Ali alayhi salam talks about good qualities. Imam Ali alayhi salam doesn't talk about the wealth of that person, of that girl, of that lady. Imam alayhi salam asked for a brave wife, generous wife. This is important. And then when Aqil asked Imam Ali alayhi salam, oh Imam Ali alayhi salam, why you want to get married with such a girl, a brave wife? Why? Imam Ali alayhi salam says, I have a plan. I have a plan. What is your plan, Imam alayhi salam? I want to get married with a brave wife so she can give birth to, inshallah, to a son who is brave as well. And then that son go and defend from my son, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, on the day of Ashura. So Imam alayhi salam had a plan. You know what's the gap between the marriage, the time of the marriage of Imam alayhi salam with Lady Ummul Baneen alayhi salam, and the day of Ashura? It's about 40 years. Imam alayhi salam thinks about 40 years ahead. You know, sometimes we want to get married because just we want to get married. We want to have a wife. We want to have a husband. That's it. We don't think about the kids. You don't think that she will be the mother of your kids or he will be the husband of your kids. You just think about, I want to get married. I want to have a wife. I want to have a husband. Imam Ali alayhi salam thinks about 40 years ahead. He has a plan for the day of Ashura. He says to Aqil, I want that son defends from my son Imam Hussein alayhi salam on the day of Ashura. This is another lesson. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli. One of the lessons that we can learn here, that Imam Ali alayhi salam says that genes of parents can pass on to the children. And children, they inherit these genes. And that's why Imam alayhi salam asked for a brave wife, to have a brave son. So Imam alayhi salam says indirectly that the genes of parents affect. The genes of parents has impact on children. So the traits of children, the traits that they have it because of the genes of parents. I was reading an article. It was saying that up to 40% of the traits of the children is because of the genes of their parents. So it has impact, it has effect. So it's important. Yeah? And that's why Imam Ali alayhi salam in a beautiful narration says, تَخَيَّرُوا لِنُطَفِكُمْ. When you want to get married, you are choosing the mother of your children. تَخَيَّرُوا لِنُطَفِكُمْ. And you are choosing the mother of your children. لِنُطَفِكُمْ. Or you are choosing the husband, the father of your kids, of your children. تَخَيَّرُوا لِنُطَفِكُمْ. And when we look at the life of our great scholars, like Muqaddas Ardebili, you know, Muqaddas Ardebili was one of the great scholars and has a beautiful story here as well. I would like to share it with you. Muqaddas Ardebili, one day he saw an apple. He was working in his farm and he saw an apple. And he saw an apple in a river that was in his farm. So he took the apple and he ate it. When he ate it, he said to himself, oof, I ate an apple, and that apple is not for me, and that apple belongs to another person. I'm not the owner of that apple. This is haqqun nas. This is the right of other people. I have to go and get permission. So Muqaddas Ardebili walks beside of the river. He walks. Then he sees a farm that has a lot of trees of apple. And then he knocks the door, and a guy opens the door, and he says to him, Salamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam. Sorry, Habibi, I ate an apple of the trees that you have. It was in the river, and the water brought the apple to my farm, and I took it and I ate it. Then that guy says to him, why you ate it? I'm not happy with you. Why you ate it? You didn't have permission. You ate one apple of my apples? How? How did you dare? He said, sorry, Habibi, I ate one apple. So what can I do? What can I do to make you happy? That guy says, look, I have a girl. My girl is deaf, blind, and disabled. If you want to make me happy, you need to get married with my daughter. Muqaddas Ardebili starts to think about it. Your daughter is blind, deaf, and disabled, and you ask me to get married with your daughter to make you happy because of one apple? And if one apple is going to change my destiny? Eating one apple is going to change my destiny? Yes. If you want to make me happy, you have to accept it. He says, okay, I'm going to accept it. It's better than the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment. Haqqun nas. Haqqun nas. The right of people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't interfere in haqqun nas. You have to solve it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He might forgive you for haqqullah. But for haqqun nas, the right of people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't interfere. You have to go and make him happy. So Muqaddas Arabi accepts that. So when they want to get married, the father of that girl says to Muqaddas Ardebili, please go to that room and see your wife now. Muqaddas Ardebili, he goes to that room and he sees a beautiful girl. She can walk, she can hear, she doesn't have any problem. She comes back to the father. He says to the father, oh father, I think I went to the wrong room. Where's your daughter? He says, my daughter was there. You went there? He says, no, Habibi, I went there, but I saw a beautiful girl. She wasn't deaf, she wasn't disabled, and she wasn't blind. He says to him, look, I told you she's blind, and she's deaf, and she's disabled because she never heard haram by her ears. She never saw haram by her eyes. She never walked toward haram by her legs. So that's why I told you she's blind, deaf, and disabled. And you deserve it. You deserve her. Because you're so good. You came to my farm because of only one apple. I love you, guy. I love you. Then we go back to our story. The mother of Muqaddas Ardebili, what did she do? The mother of Muqaddas Ardebili says, before I breastfeed my child Muqaddas Ardebili, I was on wudu. I was doing wudu, and then I was doing breastfeeding my child. So the mothers, you can learn that, inshallah. So we have another story from our time. Do you know Muhammad Hussein Tabatabai? Muhammad Hussein Tabatabai is the one who memorized Qur'an when he was very young. When he was like 4 or 5 years old, he memorized the whole Qur'an with translation. He memorized Nahjul Balagha. So Muhammad Hussein Tabatabai, his mother says, when I was pregnant, and even before that, before my pregnancy, I was listening to Qur'an every day. Every day I was listening to the Qur'an for a few hours. And that's why my child became Hafid of Qur'an. He memorized the whole Qur'an when he was very young, 4 or 5 years old. And it's like a miracle, yeah? To memorize Qur'an at that age, very young age, he memorized the whole Qur'an. So this is the blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them. But at the same time, we cannot deny that the genes of parents have impact on the traits of children. But at the same time, don't think that the genes of parents have full impact on the traits of children, because we have other individuals in our history that the father or the mother, they were so good, but the children were so bad, like Prophet Noah alayhi salam. Prophet Noah alayhi salam was a prophet, but his son was very bad. So the genes of parents have impact, of course, but don't think that the genes of parents have impact and khalas, finished everything. No. The genes have impact, but you have free will at the same time. You have to try, you have to put effort as well. You can change it, inshallah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. We have a verse in Surah Al-Kahf, in the story of Prophet Musa alayhi salam and Prophet Khuda alayhi salam. You know, in that story, Prophet Musa alayhi salam is going to Prophet Khuda alayhi salam to learn some lessons from Prophet Khuda alayhi salam. And in one of the stories, if you remember, there was a treasure in the world, and that treasure was for yatimain, غلامان yatimain في المدينة, was for two orphans that Prophet Khuda alayhi salam started to fix the wall to keep the treasure inside of the wall. All of you know that story, inshallah. So, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the continuation of that verse, says, وَكَانَ أَبُوهُمَا صَالِحًا. The father of those two orphans, the father was Salih. He was a very good, pious person. He was a faithful person. He was a very good person. Salih. And that's why I want to keep the treasure for those kids, for these two orphans, yatim. And that's why I want to keep it for them. Because of their father. Because their father was good, I want to keep the treasure for them in future. You know, you might think that the verse is talking about their father. But we have a narration from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says the gap time between that father and those two kids is something about 700 years. There was a person in the lineage, and that father was a very good father, was a very good guy. 700 years after, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to bless those two kids because of that person. Subhanallah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala. So, when Aqil goes to the father of Lady Ummul Baneen alayha salam to ask for the hand of Lady Ummul Baneen alayha salam, the father of Lady Ummul Baneen alayha salam says to Aqil, "O Aqil, this is a great honor for us, because this is Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam Ali alayhi salam. He wants to get married with my daughter. This is a great honor, pleasure for us. But, you know what? I think there is a problem." What's the problem? The problem is that I think my daughter doesn't deserve Imam Ali alayhi salam. He's so great. He's so great. She might not do justice to the status of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. I'm worried about this, because Amir al-Mu'mineen has a great status, and that's why. But it's a great honor for me. Let me to talk to my wife, and I get back to you. So the father of Lady Ummul Baneen alayhi salam talks to his wife, to the mother of Lady Ummul Baneen alayhi salam. The mother says, "Oh my dear husband, I raised my daughter. I know her better than you. I raised her. And I'm sure that she has a lot of good qualities. And inshallah, she can get married with Imam Ali alayhi salam. She deserves, inshallah. I raised my daughter. I know. I spent a lot of time with my daughter. I know her. She was confident that I know my daughter. So there is a point here for our dear parents. The point is that the mother of Lady Ummul Baneen alayha salam, because she was sure and she was confident that because I spent a lot of time with my daughter Ummul Baneen, Fatima, I know that she deserves Imam Ali alayhi salam, inshallah. But do we spend time with our kids in a way that we make sure that they are good, or what are their concerns? This is a very important point. Very, very important point. You know, Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Some of the parents, unfortunately, some of the parents, they trust their kids like blindly. And they don't know too much about their kids. And there is no love between the father and the girl, or the mother and the son. And they don't spend time with them. You know, there is a beautiful verse in the Qur'an. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Inna kunna fi ahlina mushfiqeen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states in the Qur'an, when we ask the people of heaven, why you are in heaven? What's the reason that you are here in heaven now? They say, Inna kunna fi ahlina mushfiqeen. Because we had love toward our ahl, our kids, our wife, our husband. Inna kunna fi ahlina mushfiqeen. Okay. You know, there is an Arabic grammar point here. Mushfiqeen means like shafaq, love. In Arabic, we have another word for love as well. What's that word? You all are familiar with this word. What's that word? Hub. Ahsan. Hub, like love. Shafaqa means love as well. But what's the difference between shafaqa and hub in Arabic language? They say we had shafaq toward our ahl, toward our kids. They don't say we had love or hub toward our kids. They say we had shafaq. What's the difference between shafaq and hub? Hub is love. But shafaq means love with care. Love with care. Some of the parents, they love their kids and they provide everything for them. As soon as they ask, they provide. At a very young age, they ask, Mama, Baba, I want a laptop. Tafaddal, Habibi. They give a laptop, tablet, PS5, everything to them. They don't think about the consequences of these products. Laptop, tablet, is it good for them? It's not good for them. They don't think about it. Because the child asks me, I have to provide it for my child. I have to, because I love my child. So this is love. There is no care here. But Ahl al-Jannah, the people of heaven, when they are asked why you are in the heaven, they don't say because we had hope toward our kids. They say because we had shafaq toward our kids. Because we had love with care. Love with care. This is a very important point for the parents as well, inshallah. So, in Islam, we have to have love toward our kids, of course. No doubt. And that's why you see in the history of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, when he saw Aqra'. Aqra' was a person, he came to Prophet and he said to Prophet, "Oh Prophet, why you kiss Hasanain? Why you kiss Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein? Alayhim as-salam. Aqra says, I have 10 kids, I never kiss them. And then Prophet Muhammad says to him, get away from here. Man la yarham la yurham. You don't have any mercy upon your kids. And you want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be merciful upon you? Man la yarham la yurham. So there is no doubt that we have to have love toward our children. But love with care. Love with care. Because if you just love your kids and if you provide everything for them, then you spoil your children. And this is very bad. One of the points that we can mention here, and one of the Quranic perspectives that we can share with you, inshallah, is this beautiful verse. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. إنما أموالكم وأولادكم فتنة. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states in the Quran that your wealth, your money, and your kids are fitna. Fitna means that they are the means of your test. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to test you, He tests you by your kids, by your money. So having a test by money is clear. Now I want to talk about how can Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala test us by our kids. You know Zubair. Zubair was one of the great companions of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and Imam Ali alayhi salam. Zubair. You know, the title of Zubair was Saiful Islam. This title was given to Zubair by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Zubair is one of the people who defended from Imam Ali alayhi salam in Saqifa. He had the title of Saiful Islam. You know, when they came to fire the door of Lady Fatima, the house of Lady Fatima az-Zahra alayha salam, Zubair was inside of the house of Imam Ali alayhi salam, and he was one of them. And Imam Ali alayhi salam says, ما زال زبير منا أهل البيت حتى نشأ ولده المشؤوم عبد الله. Imam alayhi salam says, Zubair was one of us. But as soon as his son Abdullah was born, he changed. Zubair. And it is narrated that in the Battle of Jamal, Imam Ali alayhi salam sends a letter to Zubair. You know, Zubair in the Battle of Jamal was against Imam Ali alayhi salam. Imam alayhi salam sends a letter to Zubair. Oh Zubair, do you remember one day Prophet Muhammad told you that one day you become the enemy of Imam alayhi salam and you are against of Imam alayhi salam? Intabih, yani for that day. Be watchful for that day. Don't be the enemy of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam. Be careful. When Zubair sees the letter of Imam alayhi salam, he remembers that yes, one day Prophet Muhammad informed him about today, about that day. He says to his son Abdullah, I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. Abdullah comes to his father, Zubair. Baba, are you scared? Are you scared from Amir al-Mu'mineen, from Imam Ali alayhi salam? Are you scared? Because he's Dhul Fiqar, you are scared? He whispers, till he says, okay. And he doesn't go toward Imam Ali alayhi salam. And he dies while he's the enemy of Imam Ali alayhi salam. So the kids, they are the means of our test. That's why we have a lot of narrations about the responsibility of parents. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. After the marriage Lady Ummul Baneen alayha salam, she asked for a request from Imam Ali alayhi salam. She says to Imam Ali alayhi salam, "Oh Imam Ali alayhi salam, please do not call me Fatima." Why? Because I don't want Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein alayhim salam become upset because they remember their mother Fatima az-Zahra alayha salam when you call me Fatima. Please call me by my kunya Ummul Baneen alayha salam. So look at the sacrifice of Lady Ummul Baneen alayha salam. Look at the respect that she had for Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein alayhim salam. And it is narrated that when the caravan came toward Medina and they informed the people of Medina that Imam Hussein alayhi salam became martyred, Lady Ummul Baneen alayha salam came to those people that who were gathered in the mosque of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And he said to one of them, Bishr, he said to Bishr, please inform me what happened. Bishr knew that Lady Ummul Baneen alayha salam's kids, all of them were killed in the Battle of Karbala. So he wanted to inform her, but slowly. So he says to her, عظم الله لك الأجر على ولدك Uthman. So she had 4 kids. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant you patience because your son Uthman became martyr. Then Lady Ummul Baneen alayha salam says to him, okay, what about Imam Hussein alayhi salam? Tell me about Imam Hussein alayhi salam. I want to know about Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And then he says, عظم الله لك الأجر على ولدك جعفر. And she says, I want to know about Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And then he says, عظم الله لك الأجر على ولدك Abdullah. So Uthman, Ja'far, Abdullah. And then she says, I want to know about Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And then he says, عظم الله لك الأجر على ولدك أبا الفضل Abbas alayhi salam. And then she fell down. And then she starts to cry. And then she asked about Imam Hussein alayhi salam. What happened to Imam Hussein alayhi salam? He says to her that Imam Hussein alayhi salam became martyr as well. And they left the body of Imam Hussein alayhi salam on the sands of Karbala for 3 days. And she starts to cry. So dear brothers and sisters, let's take our heart to Medina and recite the musibah of Lady Ummul Baneen alayha salam with allow salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم صلى الله عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله صلى الله عليكم يا أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة ومختلف الملائكة ومهبط الوحي ومعدن الرحمة صلى الله عليك يا زوجة وسي رسول الله صلى الله عليك يا عزيزة الزهراء صلى الله عليك يا أم البدور صلى الله عليك يا فاطمة أم البنين
لعن الله الظالمين لكم من الأولين والآخرين ما خاب من تمسك بكم وأمن من لجأ إليكم. When the caravan of Abi Abdullah wanted to leave toward Medina, Lady Ummul Baneen alayhi salam called Abul Fadl Abbas alayhi salam and told him, "Oh my dear son Abbas, I want you to take care of Imam Hussein and Lady Zainab alayhim salam. They are the children of Lady Fatima az-Zahra alayha salam." Abul Fadl Abbas alayhi salam told his mother, "Yes, mother, I promise you, I will take care of them." Dear brothers and sisters, Abul Fadl Abbas alayhi salam did his best till the last moment of the day of Ashura, when all companions be martyred and all children and women are suffering from thirst and calling Al-Atash Ya Abata. Abul Fadl Abbas alayhi salam sees the thirst in the eyes of kids. He comes to Abi Abdullah to get permission to go to the river and bring some water. Imam Hussein alayhi salam gave him permission. Imam Abul Fadl Abbas alayhi salam enters the battlefield and opens the enemy's army. He goes to the river, but when he was filling the water skin, he felt the coolness of the water on his hands. About to drink, he remembers the thirst of the children. He pours the water back from his hands. Then he fills the water skin and he tries to go back toward the tents of Abi Abdullah al-Husayn alayhi salam. The enemies realize that every time that they come toward Abul Fadl Abbas, they get killed. So they try to ambush him. They attack him from behind. They strike the right arm of Abul Fadl Abbas alayhi salam. Wallahi in qata'tumu yamin. إني أحامي أبداً عن ديني. He starts fighting with his left hand. At that moment, one of the enemies hides behind of the palm tree and he hits the left hand of Abul Fadl Abbas. Imagine, there are no hands to carry the water skin. He placed his water skin in his mouth. The worry of Abul Fadl Abbas alayhi salam is not his arms being cut off. His worry is that to get the water to kids. At that moment, they start throwing arrows. One arrow lands on the forehead of Abul Fadl Abbas, and the other one in his eyes. Ajarakum Allah. Now he cannot see. He's still thinking it's okay as long as I can get the water by my mouth. Suddenly one arrow pierces the water skin. He slows down and thinking, how can I go back to the tents of Abi Abdullah without water? In this way I promised him the water. At that moment, one of the enemies hits Abul Fadl Abbas on his head by the rod. أجركم الله. Abul Fadl Abbas alayhi salam fell on his face because he had no arms and hands.
ای اهل حرم میر و علم دار نیامد، سقای حسین سید و سالار نیامد. دل خون شد و از معرکه دل دار نیامد. ای اهل حرم میر و علم دار نیامد، سقای ادب جلوه ایثار نیامد. ای اهل حرم میر و علم دار نیامد. الا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. صلوا على محمد وآله.
Abu Fadil, they tell me at your door nobody knocks and leaves empty-handed. I came to your door for I have no door. I roam Bainul Haramain stranded, like the arrow that in your eye rested, the nail behind the door and me rested. Muhsin is calling out to me, Ummah. The thought of Asghar has left me breathless. Ya Abu Fadil, Ya Abu Fadil, Ya Abu Fadil, Ya Abu Fadil, Ya Abu Fadil. Stand up, brothers. Ya Abu Fadil, Ya Abu Fadil, Ya Abu Fadil, Abu Fadil, they tell me at your door nobody knocks and leaves empty-handed. I came to your door for I have no door. I roam Bainul Haramain stranded, like the arrow that in your eye rested, the nail behind the door and me rested. Muhsin is calling out to me, Ummah. The thought of Asghar has left me breathless. Ya Abu Fadil, Ya Abu Fadil, Fadil, Ya Abu Fadil, Ya Abu Fadil, Ya Abu Fadil. If you ever wondered, then bring your ear closer. If you ever pondered on who is Al-Abbas, on who is Al-Abbas, and part of the answer is Haydar, his father, Fatima, his mother. What more could a son ask? What more could a son ask? His lineage and his caste. His lineage and his caste only have a part to play. He is just Al-Abbas. Abu Fadil is his name. Abu Fadil, Ya 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 Abu Haydar Ali raised him, the moon Ali named him. Haydar Ali raised him, the moon Ali named him. For this day he has raised him. Put Zainab in your trust, put Zainab in your trust. When she would stand on the hill with no helper, the flag is her shelter. When your shadow will cast, your shadow will cast, block the sun from her path, block the sun from her path. This is Zainab bint Ali, light her way, Ya Abbas, like the moon lights the valley. Ya Abu Fadil, 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 Fadil, Ya Abu Fadil, Ya Abu Fadil. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Inshallah we'll face the Qibla for dua al-Hujjah. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا تسكنه أرضك توعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وصل اللهم على سيدنا محمد وآله الطاهرين.